All right, so we're diving into the Terminator today.
Oh, yes.
You've sent over a whole bunch of articles and stuff about it.
I did.
And it's the 40th anniversary
40 years.
of this movie coming out.
Wow.
I cannot believe it's been that long.
It's a classic.
It really is.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be a really fun deep dive.
I think so too.
So just to get everybody up to speed in case anybody out there hasn't seen it.
Right.
The Terminator is about a cyborg assassin
Mm-hmm.
that's sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor.
Yes.
And her unborn son will one day lead the resistance against
Right.
Skynet,
Skynet, that's right.
which is this artificial intelligence that becomes self-aware
Yeah.
and basically decides to wipe out humanity.
Pretty dark.
Yeah, it is.
It's a pretty dark premise for
Yeah.
a film.
But it's really interesting to look back at how this groundbreaking film was actually made.
For sure.
I was really surprised to learn that the budget was incredibly small
Really?
for this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it only had a budget of $6.5 million.
Wow. That's like nothing for a movie like that.
Right.
I mean, especially now, you couldn't even make like a student film for that.
No, and I think that's what kind of led to Cameron using all these like unconventional
Oh, yeah.
filmmaking tactics.
Right.
Guerrilla filmmaking.
Guerrilla filmmaking. What is that?
Well, it's basically shooting really quickly in locations,
Okay.
often without permits,
Oh, wow.
to avoid any unwanted attention.
So basically, they were running around LA like a bunch of crazy people,
Yeah, pretty much.
just shooting wherever they could.
Yeah, just trying to stay under the radar.
I love that.
Yeah, pretty cool.
It gives it that real gritty feel.
Yeah, you can really feel that energy in the film.
Totally.
And, before The Terminator,
Yeah.
Cameron actually directed a film called
This is interesting.
Piranha 2.
The Spawning?
Piranha 2,
Okay.
which he's practically disowned.
Really?
Yeah, he had conflicts with producers. There were language barriers with the crew.
Wow.
And the final product just didn't align with his vision at all.
That's a nightmare for a director.
It sounds like
You
it.
spend all that time working on something and then it's just like completely different.
Right, and you don't have control over it.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets kind of ironic.
Okay, I love irony.
After The Terminator became a hit,
Mm-hmm.
a director's cut of Piranha 2 was released.
Oh, wow.
And it was actually well received.
Really?
So it's like his earlier work was only appreciated
That's so funny.
after he had this big success.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes you think, like, how much does a director's vision really impact a film?
Well, I mean, you think about it, like a director's cut is basically a version of the film
Right.
that's closer to what the director wanted it to be.
Exactly.
And in this case, it seems like people actually preferred that version.
Yeah,
So I think it definitely shows that a director's vision can make a huge difference.
I think so too. All right, so let's talk about the casting of Arnold Schwarzenegger
Oh, yeah.
as the Terminator.
That's interesting.
He wasn't really the obvious choice back then.
No, he was known for action movies.
Right. Conan the Barbarian and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
exactly. Yeah.
And his English wasn't exactly perfect at that point either.
That's true.
But Cameron saw something in him.
Yeah.
Like a certain intensity,
Yeah.
this physical presence
Right.
that really embodied the Terminator's relentlessness.
Totally. And it's funny because Schwarzenegger was actually hesitant
Really.
to take the role.
Why?
He was worried about being typecast as a villain.
Oh, yeah.
He built his career playing these larger-than-life heroes.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to be seen as the bad guy.
Right.
But Cameron managed to convince him by saying that audiences would see the Terminator as this cool machine.
This cool machine.
Yeah.
Not like a traditional villain.
Exactly.
And I think he was right.
He was right.
I mean, Schwarzenegger's portrayal of the Terminator became iconic, and it really launched him into superstardom.
Absolutely.
It's kind of wild to think that they considered other actors for that role.
Really?
Yeah, like Mel Gibson,
Wow.
Sylvester Stallone,
Oh.
even O.J. Simpson.
Wow. O.J. Simpson as the Terminator? That's
That's a whole other movie.
a very different movie.
Yeah.
But it shows you how different the film could have been
Right.
with a different actor.
Yeah, casting really can change everything.
Oh, absolutely.
So you have to wonder, what was Cameron thinking with some of those?
I know, right?
All right, well, I think we've covered a good amount for this first part of our deep dive.
Okay.
And we will pick this back up after a quick break.
Sounds good. Of course, the Terminator spawned a whole franchise
Yeah.
with sequels and TV series,
Ah.
even an anime adaptation.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, some of those sequels are considered classics,
Oh, totally.
like Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Judgment Day.
That's like a classic.
It really pushed the boundaries
Yeah.
of visual effects back then.
Oh, yeah. And it really solidified
Totally.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's transition from, like, villain
Right.
to hero.
Yeah.
But then there are others that kind of miss the mark.
Well, yeah, that's the thing with franchises, you know?
Yeah.
It's really hard to keep that momentum going
Mm-hmm.
and to, create sequels that are as good as the original.
And sometimes it just feels like they're trying to recapture that magic
I think so.
instead of, like, exploring new
Right.
facets of the story
Exactly.
or the characters.
You gotta keep it fresh, you know?
Yeah.
But there are other ways you can revitalize a franchise.
Like what?
Well, like that anime series, Terminator. The beginning.
Oh, yeah, the one on Netflix?
Yeah, that one's actually pretty good.
I've heard good things about that.
Yeah, animation is a really interesting way to kind of breathe new life.
Yeah. How so?
Well, you can experiment with different visual styles.
Okay.
And you can explore different aspects of the story.
So it appeals to, like, the old fans.
Yeah.
The new fans.
Exactly.
Okay, so back to something you mentioned before.
Yeah.
The year 2029,
Oh, yeah.
that's the year that Skynet becomes self-aware,
Oh, gosh, yeah.
which is kind of freaky because that's not that far away.
No, it's not.
And it just makes you wonder, like, was Cameron
Like,
tapping
you know
into
what?
some sort of, like, collective anxiety
Think so?
about technology?
Yeah, I mean, the movie came out 40 years ago.
Right.
But those themes feel so relevant today.
Like he had a glimpse into the future or something.
Right.
It's wild.
It really makes you think about our dependence on technology
Yeah.
and, the ethical implications of AI.
Like all this stuff with artificial intelligence that's happening now.
Yeah, it's moving so fast.
That's crazy.
And it's kind of scary.
Yeah, I remember when I first saw The Terminator, the idea of machines taking over just seemed like
Yeah.
pure science fiction.
Right.
But now it's like,
It feels a lot more real.
it's not so far-fetched anymore.
No, it's not.
So it's kind of unsettling.
Yeah, it is.
But maybe that's the point of the film.
Right.
Like it's a cautionary
A
tale
civil warning.
wrapped in this really exciting action film.
Totally.
So we've talked about the production, the casting, the impact, the franchise.
Yeah.
But let's go back to the core of it all.
Okay.
Those 14 lines spoken by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all know, I'll be back.
That's the classic.
But what about the other 13?
Yeah. Well, each of those lines is very deliberate.
Really?
They reveal something about the Terminator,
Okay.
like his mission or his capabilities or his lack of emotion.
You got minimalist dialogue,
It is.
but it's super effective.
Yeah. Cameron understood that sometimes less is more, especially with a character like the Terminator.
Right.
Like, his silence is just as powerful as his words.
Yeah, and it really contrasts with Michael Bihn's performance as Kyle Reese.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He brings that humanity to the role,
Yeah.
which, contrasts with Schwarzenegger's stoicism.
Yeah, they have really good chemistry.
Yeah, they do.
On screen.
Yeah.
It's great.
And, speaking of Sarah Connor,
Yeah,
she goes through such an amazing transformation in this film.
she does.
From, this kind of ordinary waitress to
Yeah.
this hardened warrior.
She really becomes a symbol of strength.
Yeah, she's a fighter.
Yeah.
She's not a damsel in distress.
Right.
She takes control.
And it's so cool that Linda Hamilton is still taking on these challenging roles today.
Oh, yeah. She's going to be in the final season of Stranger Things,
That's right.
which is pretty exciting.
I'm really curious to see what she does with that role.
Yeah, me too.
So we've talked a lot about the different aspects of the Terminator,
We have.
but I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier.
Okay.
The film's budget
Yeah, $6.5 million.
and the unconventional filming techniques.
Right, like guerrilla filmmaking.
It's amazing that they were able to create such a groundbreaking film
Yeah, it really is.
with so little.
It shows you that you don't need a huge budget to make a great movie.
It's about the story, the characters,
Oh, the vision.
and a director with passion.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm curious, what are your final thoughts on The Terminator?
Well, I think it's a film that continues to resonate with audiences.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Because it taps into these primal fears about technology and fate,
Mm-hmm.
but it also offers a glimmer of hope,
Yeah.
like a reminder that even in the darkest of times,
Right.
humanity can fight back.
I like that.
It's a powerful message.
And it feels more relevant than ever.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, well, let's wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Okay.
and we'll come back for the final part after a quick.
It's really incredible to think about
That's that.
how a film like The Terminator, made on such a shoestring budget
Yeah.
with like these kind of unconventional methods,
Mm-hmm.
ended up becoming this like huge cultural touchstone.
Yeah, I mean, it really speaks to the power of
Originality, for sure.
originality, vision,
Yeah.
determination.
Yeah, just sheer will. I mean, Cameron using all this practical effects and
Yeah.
telling such a great story.
With very little money.
Right.
It's really remarkable.
It's pretty amazing.
And the performances, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Terminator.
He's so good.
Linda Hamilton becoming Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Michael Biehn as Kyle Reese.
Yeah, they all really brought something special
They
to
did.
those roles.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to imagine, like, how
Yeah.
this movie would be perceived by someone
Right.
watching it for the very first time today.
Oh, that's a good question.
Like, do you think it still holds up?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, the
Wow.
themes,
Yeah.
technological advancement,
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence, the whole like fight for survival thing,
Right.
those are all more relevant than ever.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And plus the movie's just like,
A good movie.
it's a really well-made film.
Yeah, it's stylish.
Yeah.
It's got great action.
Yeah.
It's a fun watch.
It's a classic for a reason.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it still sparks these, like, conversations about our relationship with technology.
Yeah.
And, like, the choices we make as a society.
Right. Are we headed down the right path?
Yeah, it's like a cautionary tale almost.
It's like a warning,
Yeah.
but it's also entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, it makes you think,
Right.
but it doesn't hit you over the head with it.
No, it's a really nice blend
Yeah,
of entertainment and, like, deeper meaning.
absolutely.
Speaking of deeper meaning,
Yeah.
I think Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor's relationship
Oh, yeah.
is like another one of those things that makes the film so great.
For sure.
They're thrown together
Under crazy
in
circumstances.
this, like, insane situation,
Yeah.
facing, like, impossible odds,
Right.
but they still manage to connect.
It's true love.
It's a great love story.
Yeah.
It's really sweet.
And it adds like another layer
Yeah.
to the movie.
It's not just an action movie.
No, it's more than that.
There's real heart there.
Absolutely.
And it kind of reminds us that even in, like,
Mm.
the darkest of times,
Right.
there's still room for
Love.
hope.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful thing.
it is.
All right. Well, I think we've pretty much covered everything
I think so.
in this deep dive into The Terminator.
Yeah.
What a movie.
What a movie.
So to our listeners out there,
Yes.
I hope you've enjoyed
I hope so.
this journey with us.
It's been fun.
Maybe you learned something new
Right.
about the film.
Or just enjoyed the ride.
Yeah.
So the next time you watch The Terminator,
Yeah.
really pay attention to those 14 lines
Those 14 lines.
from Arnold.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And just marvel at Linda Hamilton
Yes.
as Sarah Connor.
What a performance.
And remember that message of hope,
And
resilience.
never give up.
That's right.
Well, that concludes our deep dive
It does.
into The Terminator.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And until next time, keep exploring,
Keep those mental gears turning.
keep questioning,
Yes.
and we'll see you on the next